It always starts small, something so ordinary you almost ignore it. A sound outside your window. Footsteps that seem to echo yours. The faint, indescribable feeling that someone's eyes are on you. You tell yourself it's nothing, just your imagination. But deep down, something starts to stir, that cold, primal instinct that whispers you're not alone. At first, it's curiosity that drives you to look. You peek through the blinds, check your door twice before bed, scroll through your phone trying to find a reason for the unease creeping up your spine. But curiosity turns into fear when you start noticing patterns. The same car parked across the street from you, the same number calling but never leaving a voicemail, the same face lingering at the edge of a crowd. You start convincing yourself it's coincidence. It has to be. Because the alternative, that someone out there is studying you, memorizing you, is too terrifying to accept. Then the signs get closer. A small gift left on your doorstep, something only someone who knows you would leave. A note written in uneven handwriting. Maybe it's your name on it. Maybe it's a simple word like, hello. You start locking your doors earlier. You double-check the windows. Every time you step outside, you scan your surroundings, the alley, the parked cars, the shadows. But no matter how careful you are, that feeling follows you like a shadow that doesn't belong to you. And the strangest part? They never make their presence obvious. They never break in. They never threaten. They just exist, hovering at the edges of your life, waiting for you to notice. You start losing sleep. You start hearing things. Maybe a faint knock at the window late at night. Maybe the sound of your own name whispered through the static of a phone that shouldn't be ringing. That's when fear turns into dread. You realize they've learned your schedule. When you leave, when you sleep, when you're most vulnerable. You start to understand that they don't just want to watch you. They want to know you, own the version of you that exists when no one else is around. And the scariest moment isn't when you see them for the first time. It's when you realize they've seen you for far longer than you've known. Maybe you'll wake up one night and find something moved in your room. A picture frame turned slightly, your curtains drawn open. Maybe you'll glance at your phone and find a photo of yourself sleeping, time-stamped from a few minutes ago. The watcher you never see doesn't need to chase you. They only need to watch, to wait, to make sure that one day when you finally turn around and catch a glimpse of them, a pale face in the dark, a shape outside your window, you'll know they've been there all along. And by then it's already too late. Silence is supposed to mean safety. When the knocking stops, when the footsteps fade, when the phone finally stops ringing, that's when you breathe again. You tell yourself it's over. You convince yourself the fear was in your head, that the stalker got bored and moved on. You start opening your blinds again. You stop checking over your shoulder every time you walk home. You try to feel normal again. But silence doesn't always mean safety. Sometimes it's the calm before something much worse. It starts small, a lingering shadow reflected in your TV screen, a door that's slightly open when you know you closed it, a scent in the air that doesn't belong to you. You brush it off because you want to believe it's nothing. You want to believe you're safe. But deep down, that unease creeps back in, cold and steady. It's the same feeling you thought you left behind. Because stalkers don't disappear. They don't give up. They wait. They learn your habits, your defenses, your fears, and they adapt. Maybe they stopped calling, but now they're closer. Maybe they don't need to watch from afar anymore because they've already found a way inside your world. The truth hits slowly, cruelly. Maybe you find an unfamiliar key near your doorstep. Maybe your lights flicker at the exact same time every night. Maybe your phone starts acting strange. Opening apps on its own, your location turned on when you swear you switched it off. These are the little cracks that let the horror in piece by piece, until you realize that silence was never protection. It was strategy. And then one night, when you least expect it, something happens that shatters the illusion. You come home and find your chair slightly turned, your clothes moved, your mirror smudged with fingerprints that aren't yours. You tell yourself you're overreacting, that there's an explanation, but your body knows the truth before your mind does. The same cold shiver runs through you, the same instinct whispers they're still here. You call your friends, maybe even the police, but by the time help arrives, there's no sign of anyone. Just silence again. That same heavy, suffocating silence. That's when the truth settles in. The stalker never left. They didn't stop. They just changed the game. They've blended into your world so quietly that you can't separate safety from danger anymore. Every sound, every flicker, every passing glance feels like a clue. And you start to realize something far worse than being followed. You're being studied. You're not their target anymore. You're their project. You'll go to bed that night, pretending it's all in your imagination. You'll close your eyes, telling yourself you're safe. But as the room goes quiet and your breath slows, somewhere, in the dark, in the corner, behind the glass, someone else is listening. And they smile because silence isn't the end of the story. It's just the moment before you realize they've been inside all along.